I'm leaving.
Okay then, that was always allowed.
Yeah.
Unscripted.
Yes, Crap, we are all very much aware that your videos are not scripted. We can tell.
You guys probably remember a while back I said, you know what, I don't trust any of these executives.
You know, it's funny you say that. Funny you even want to call anyone else other than yourself untrustworthy. There was one main reason I even wanted to do this video. When Crap was relatively new to creating PlayStation propaganda, and yes, I am going to call him Crap because a gamer he is not. He put out this gem of a video where he claimed Sony would buy out Bethesda and all their IPs. I could not resist the urge to find any excuse to make a video just to point this out. That'd be like rolling up a joint and telling me not to smoke it. Ain't gonna happen. And here we are a year later, and none of that came into fruition. In fact, the complete opposite happened actually. It was instead Microsoft who bought them out, and this 400-pound man-child had the balls to keep the video up. But can you blame him? When you're well over 60k subs and barely getting 2,000 views a video, every penny counts. It goes to show you that this poor excuse of a content creator has no integrity whatsoever. What's more is the fact that after spending half a decade lying about Sony and running a hardcore anti-Sony campaign, PlayStation fanboys somehow still found it in their heart to take him in and make him one of their own. Before CrapGamer was putting out pro-Sony content, everything else was absolute bullshit, and ponies were on this man's ass about it. So all he had to do was continue making the same stagnant, unwatchable clickbait, but this time for Sony. And then he was well received. They don't care who it is standing for Sony. Hell, Colt Eastwood could start standing for Sony, and they will grift for him immediately, because these guys have no standards outside of, does he suck PlayStation's dick and shit on everything else? Years of lies, corporate simping, and insults are just magically forgotten once you change your background image to the PlayStation logo. Which, by the way, this man still has the Gears of War tattoo on his avatar. Fanboys embracing this bitch after pumping out thousands of anti-PlayStation videos is probably the lowest point I've ever seen for the ponies. Y'all should be embarrassed and ashamed.
For a while back I said, you know what, I don't trust any of these executives. I think that they're all in it for the money, they're all in it for themselves, and
who could have seen this coming? Whoa!
Obviously, we have that type of situation sort of rear its ugly head. And, you know, at the same time, I think that it's something that clearly a lot of people are going to be talking about.
Oh my God! Wow! Oh my God!
And, you know, I think that it's something that a lot of people are going to be, you know, kind of split. This is going to be one of those topics that you're going to probably see a split. And you might not even see a split 50-50, but you're going to see some kind of split, whether it's 70-30 or 80-20. There's going to be some kind of split there. And I think it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out long term.
Wow, amazing insight, Crap. I never in my life would have expected the gaming community to talk about this. Wow, can you guys believe it? Could you guys imagine the gaming community talking about gaming subjects? Anyways, you're way off on the split. As a matter of fact, there was no split, as Sony themselves said there was practically no negative reception or outcry. You can quit pretending like half the community is a giant man-child like you, because the reality of the situation is that the majority do not give a single fuck. Just how it was when you jumped away from Xbox. You were upset that most people on Xbox weren't as bitchy about exclusivity as you were. I don't know why you jumped to PlayStation thinking the community there would be as anti-consumer as you wanted them to be.
Jim Ryan, the head of PlayStation, made a bunch of announcements today, but one of the main things that he announced was that a big group and contingent of PlayStation exclusives would be headed to PC. Now, a lot of people probably don't feel one way or the other about this. You know, some people are platform agnostic.
Platform agnostic? I think he means normal gamers. Same guy who tried calling out neutrals for not participating in stupid console wars.
I'm not saying, just in my opinion, I don't think it's possible to be not a fan of one slightly more than the other. You know, talking just Xbox and PlayStation here, you know. You're always going to have a preference. You know, if you know, back in the past, like on the 360, if you had a preference for shooters, you were an Xbox fan. You know, that was your preference.
I can't help that you're stupid, so sorry that you're stupid.
Same guy that said it was every Xbox owner's duty to buy every exclusive, even if it's bad.
I think, in my humble opinion, that if you're upset about Quantum Break going to Steam and you want to blame somebody, look into the mirror. Right there. Blame that person, because that's the person that didn't buy the game, that didn't support the exclusive.
Don't ask questions. Just consume product and then get excited for next products.
It has become more and more evident that Crap is not a gamer, hence why I removed gamer from his name. He exists to shill for a corporation and flame fanboy wars. It's why when Phil Spencer personally denounced him in front of hundreds of thousands of people, he left for the other brand. His toxicity was not valued, and to this day he still believes he was in the right and that the platforms and software should be kept segregated. His whole problem was that the company he cheerleads for wasn't anti-consumer enough for him. He has no identity outside of the brand he ties himself to, and I, for the love of God, cannot figure out why PlayStation fanboys were able to point this out about him before, but now they embrace his same shitty behavior.
So now those people will probably not buy a PlayStation, and they'll probably just wait for them to come to PC or whatever, which is another contingent. For like someone like me, I despise PC gaming at its core, and I will never be a PC gamer, so I continue to buy consoles.
Despising the least anti-consumer and least prohibitive platform. Why am I not surprised he hates it? Truth is, there isn't one entity that owns the PC as a whole, and that's exactly why he's a console guy. He intentionally wants to be under the control of a corporation. Yeah, I know, he's batshit crazy. But like I said, because there's nobody for him to cheerlead on the PC, then how's he supposed to make any videos? This man is lost without a corporation. He relies on them for a sole identity, like I said. It's why if Sony ever goes the way of Microsoft and they put their games day one on PC, he'll probably jump to Nintendo and start standing for them. Or he could go to the KFC console. I could already see it now. KFC console has a huge update. PlayStation and Xbox doomed?
Frit, you're, dumb. The KFC console is a PC, and you already know I despise PC gaming.
And I guess, so nothing much really changes for me personally, except for, you know, you get a little bit less of that kind of A-class feeling that this stuff comes out. So yeah, there is a little bit of that.
You didn't get any A-class treatment from Xbox for years, and you still stood by them, so I highly doubt that.
I kind of wanted to get into this as quickly as possible because there is a lot to cover here, and I wanted to jump into it. So let's get started. What's up, everybody? CrapGamer here with CrapGamer Reviews.
What? What do you mean that was barely the intro? We still have an entire video to go through? Fuck. So let's just skim past all these pointless parts where Crap fumbles over his words trying to read the article because it's painful. And he quite literally repeats every single thing he said in the intro. I'm not even exaggerating. He says nothing new between the intro up to here. So I'm gonna go ahead and guess that this is what he meant by unscripted. Just a jumbled mess of a video.
So obviously this is something that, you know, maybe they're a little bit off, you know, with what they're talking about here. I think that clearly this is something that, for me personally, I feel like is a bit of a misstep.
So Sony opening the door to making even more money without affecting their console market is a misstep. Well, Crap, since you are a marketing expert here, I would like your insight on this. What vast knowledge on this subject does the almighty CrapGamer have?
And I understand what the main thinking is right here, okay, right? So from the sounds of it, it sounds like, you know, it's going to be old games. They're not going to be day and date, and that's good, you know, like it's going to be like ports of PlayStation 4 games, you know, you want to get, but at the same point, that means you can't go, well, Days Gone is exclusive, or Horizon Zero, like, you literally have to throw the exclusive argument out of the door.
This might be hard to believe, but are you aware that nobody gives a shit?
Because I think that it's going to be a situation, you know, that really kind of represents the big change here, the big change that's coming.
I see. So Sony's making a huge misstep by no longer giving console fanboys fuel for arguing on the internet. Oh no! How are those executives at Sony supposed to sleep at night on their piles of money, knowing they no longer have someone like CrapGamer standing for them? What is it with PlayStation fanboys not making a single objective argument here? All I've seen for an entire week on Twitter and on YouTube is nothing but fanboys bitching and whining and arguing with their feelings. It's always about, I hate it personally, I don't like it. Well, that's not really an argument. You'd have to give us a reason why this would affect Sony negatively. If it doesn't affect Sony negatively, why is it affecting you?
I mean, it starts with Days Gone. I mean, it started with Horizon Zero Dawn, so right away you can't list that game as a PlayStation exclusive, and you know that the sequel will probably go to PC at some point as well.
And when that day comes, you bet your ass I'll be there to cover the salt that's going to be pouring from the heavens.
Days Gone as well was a game that, and you can't really go, well, you know, maybe those games sold poorly or whatever, because they're not. I mean,
do you now see why I don't want to respond to entire videos anymore? This man goes on rambling incoherently and can never keep track of what he was talking about, and that ends up just wasting our time. If Daddy Frit could generate enough memes to cover up the bland parts of Crap's shitty video, he would, but I'd have to have pounds of weed to do it. So donate to the Patreon, bitches!
You're going to see a bunch of these games go to PC, and, you know, it really does take away sort of that exclusive mentality.
And just imagine trying to make that sound like a bad thing. Who the fuck else, other than a 40-year-old overweight balding man-child, would give a shit? That mentality doesn't apply to the other 99% of normal human beings.
And, you know, again, I've stated this multiple times, because a lot of people go, well, exclusives are anti-consumer or stupid anyway. There shouldn't be exclusives, and I always point this out, okay? You have 3 consoles, okay? You have a Nintendo, you have a PlayStation, you have an Xbox. If all 3 of these consoles played the exact same games, how long do you think we would continue to have 3 consoles?
I am the smartest man alive!
Is this seriously the best argument you have? How the hell did you ever think to yourself, yeah, this is a solid argument. There will always be a market for console users. People that are too stupid to handle a PC will always have a place in the market, and it's quite a large one at that. It generates billions, with most of that billions being from non-exclusive games. Millions of console users already have a lot of video games purchased and a lot of friends and achievements, and it's made even easier for them to simply move to a new iteration of what they already have. Neither of these consoles will cease to exist without exclusives, because each of them already has their own consumer base and have expanded to PC, where they have a new reach as well. Do you think everyone will suddenly drop and move to PC? Clearly not, since you yourself said you hate PC gaming and never plan to game on it. Congrats, consoles exist for you. Now pick what you like and shut up.
Because if I could play Xbox games and Nintendo games on a PlayStation, that's what I would do. Okay, and probably since PlayStation is the most popular brand, that's what, you know, 80% of people would do. Which would mean Microsoft and Nintendo would stop creating consoles, and, you know, and they would be basically, we'd be at Sony's mercy.
Just when I think you've said the stupidest thing ever, you keep talking.
80% of the market would go to Sony. Why? And in this fictional market where exclusives no longer exist, would there be no other unique feature that could possibly set them apart? Could there be no other way aside from exclusives? The funniest thing about all of this is that his entire anxiety is from older PlayStation games going to PC. There wasn't a single hint of these games going to other consoles, and yet this is the immediate panic attack for Crap. He doesn't want people to have options of where to buy games. That makes him more worried than the surge of game prices. How insanely ridiculous is that? The real threat isn't corporations fucking you over, it's corporations giving you more options.
And then without that competition, we would all be stuck in a situation where Sony could charge what they want, do what they want, and that's not good for anybody.
So let's talk about this price increase for games, specifically how we're going from $60 games to $70 games now that Sony has kind of set that mark.
Well, they're already kind of doing all of that without being the only console, so I don't know how you're okay with them now. I love this notion that Nintendo and Xbox would die out because somehow Sony would destroy them if they all shared the same library. They believe the corporation they worship is that powerful. Remember how CrapGamer thought Microsoft would purchase Valve? The stupidity never changes.
because with only Steam is just an app, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they make billions of dollars. It's huge, but it is an app. It can't run without an operating system. And the operating system that it's mostly on is Windows. And who owns Windows? Microsoft. So it would only make a lot of sense. Now, we know that the guy that owns Valve, he is not a fan of Microsoft, or used to not be. But you know what? Just like with anything in life, if you come with that checkbook and you says, how much is it to where you hate me? How much can I make you like me? And that changes everything, baby.
I did a video last week. There was a rumor of them buying 3 studios, right? That's what I had heard. What if it wasn't 3 studios per se, but 3 things in general? You know what I mean? Like the PUBG thing.
Yeah, Microsoft's going to buy Steam. They're going to buy fucking PUBG, and they're going to buy EA. Of course. Yeah, totally.
Exclusives really push the industry. They they differentiate the consoles themselves from each other. And I understand that PC's different platform, and I'm fine with that because, listen, I was an Xbox fan for a long time, and even though people like to bring up something that happened in 2016, like me and Phil going at it over Quantum Break going to PC.
Is that what you think? Do you seriously believe you guys were quote-unquote going at it? No, that's not what happened. What happened is he humiliated you and disowned you in front of thousands at the peak of what you call your YouTube career. People talk about it to this day because it was a prime example of your toxicity not being something that people in suits like. They look down at you because you are less of an investment to them. There are more people who would rather double dip on a console and PC version. Why would they want someone like you that wouldn't? They'd rather have more consumer bases than a tiny corner of the internet of fanboys like you. You guys always brag about Sony's sales and revenue. Now you'll have more to brag about, but I guess those PC cucks taint the sales or something, so they no longer count.
It wasn't just because it was going to PC. It was because it was going to PC 3 weeks. You know, they announced it 3 weeks away from launch, where for 3 years they called it an exclusive to Xbox. Okay, that's the huge difference.
He's still fuming about being cucked by Phil Spencer. He won't let it go. But I must know, Crap, what difference did it coming to PC make? What changed about the game? Until you can tell us how that negatively affected your enjoyment, other than it made the game seem less shiny, you have absolutely nothing, and I mean nothing, to cry about. You didn't want to game on PC since you hate it, so why be upset it's on a platform you hate? I want a logical answer, not more bitching and whining. The only thing a PC port has ever done is draw more attention to a game, make it look and run better, and sell more. That's all it's done. You have to explain to me where the harm is coming from, because nobody can point to it. Everybody's up in arms and their feelings are hurt. That's all I've been hearing. These PlayStation fanboys are just like the people who were against legalizing weed. They didn't have a single objective argument.
Xbox has always had games that were on PC and console. Halo 1 and Halo 2, Gears 1. You just continue to kind of look at it that way. They've always had a lot. KOTOR. They always had a lot of games that were on both. That was not really my issue.
Right. So you mean to tell me that you've known that this was a trend for years, yet you didn't say shit about it while you simped for Xbox for nearly half a decade? It only became a problem up to 2016, the exact year Phil Spencer humiliated you in front of thousands of people. Couldn't be a coincidence.
Look, Sony just posted their biggest income revenue ever. Okay, their biggest ever. They basically are making what Nintendo and Xbox divisions are combined, and yet that's not enough. You know what I mean? I understand that the price of games are going up and stuff like that, but they're literally making more money than they ever have before.
Oh my fucking god, this shit again? Do PlayStation fanboys seriously think for a single second Sony would want less money? This is the second fanboy in a row saying this shit, and I'm starting to get tired of responding to it. Grow the fuck up. Corporations are corporations for a reason. Well, I've told you many times they don't give a fuck about you. They won't suddenly stop counting money and say, ew, PC gamer money, throw it away. You are an entitled little bitch. You want them to make less money for your own feelings. Ponies spend all their free time bragging about revenue, but the minute an opportunity for Sony to make more money elsewhere comes up, they call Sony greedy. which they are, don't get me wrong. It's just funny that they will only call them greedy when it's one of their least greedy actions.
And so much like Microsoft trying to double the price of Xbox Live Gold, you know, I feel like this is a bit of a misjudging the room and kind of reading the room wrong. You know, and I do feel like that's kind of a mistake.
Doubling the price of a paywall like Paid Online is just as bad and stupid as porting old-ass PlayStation games to PC. Crap, you have the most backwards-ass logic I have ever seen. You cannot live without having a corporate entity there to give you meaning. It's pathetic. These two things are not only incomparable, but only one of them was actually a smart business move that benefits both consumers and the corporation. I'm going to be quite honest with you here. I'm a bit concerned that you are not able to distinguish the difference between those two things.
You know, at the end of the day, am I going to continue to buy PlayStation games? Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Yep. And that right there is the perfect way to end the video. He will still buy PlayStation, so why the fuck does this video exist other than to mock and make some money? This man is a living, breathing version of the console fanboy meme. Unhinged, stupid, doesn't put a single thought into what they say, and ultimately a waste of everyone's time and energy. Here he complains for 12 minutes about how all games going everywhere could lead to a dystopian nightmare where Sony owns the entire industry, and yet here he is continuing to buy from them as if he didn't just say that. There's really nothing left to his video, other than more stuttering and word fumbling, and repeating the exact same fucking points. He also says,
you know, for me personally, like as I get older, you know, as I approach that big 4-0, and I've been gaming since like the 1980s, you know, just a lot of this stuff, I'm a hardcore, like old school type gamer.
Just how sad is that? 40 fucking years old and doing this console fanboy war shit? I would find it humorous if he was doing it ironically, you know, as a joke. But no, he's dead serious. His brain never fully developed. Most PlayStation fanboys' brains never have fully developed. It's why they block you instead of trying to engage with you. They don't want to be understood, they just want you to know they're angry.
You know, and I know it's just PS4 games for right now, but at what point is it going to be, you know, PS5 games? And then it takes away a little bit of that speciality and that little bit of extra, you know, that good feeling of, you know, that I think a lot of us have when it comes to these platforms, you know. And I do hope that things change, and I do hope that things kind of continue to get better.
Have you ever had a dream that you could do so?
Wow, just listen to all of that nothingness. Not a single thing there made sense or was worth responding to. That's why I'm trying to move away from 30+ minute long videos.
You know, just, I mean, that's just my opinion. I just think that it kind of sucks. And, you know, I do hope that we see, you know, some kind of something.
Some kind of something. Wow, crap. Just, wow. Not only can you not identify the issue, but you also want something to be done about it. Okay, that's it. I have to go. This is too much. Like, comment, subscribe. I don't know. I don't care. This shit got me blushing from how embarrassing it is. With that being said, I'll see you bitches in the next video.
Fritanga sucks ass.